Has anyone out there found yourself just sitting there scratching your nuggets, like, the crap is going on? What is going on? Since 2016, many of our worlds have drastically, and I mean drastically, changed. Like, not just like, oh, well, that was black and now it's white, or that was white and now that's black or blue or purple, because it's not about color, for goodness sake. Time that we all get over that and realize that that has been planted within our heads on purpose through an elite type of group that definitely set out to hurt us from day one. They have indoctrinated us through a systematic conditioning system and way of thinking that has worked. And I want to also say, we're going to have to break the cycle. It's up to us to break the cycle. But who's scratching their nuggets right now going, my gosh, how this world has changed? And not just the night to day, but we're talking like the entire world. Everything we've ever been told is a flipping lie. You wake up one day and you realize something's not right. And then you see that certain something that's not right. Whether it be what's in your sky or the constellations or how very close they are, where you can almost like zoom in with any camera, where you should never be able to zoom in and make any kind of difference at all. Whether it be that or, I don't know, many of us suffering from what some will call Lyme or Morgellons or Morgellons, or however you want to pronounce it, or anything of the type, noticing that there's something going on strange and oddly with our body that is exhibiting strange signs and situations that it's also expelling and can't make no rhyme nor reason. You just know that the world has dubbed you crazy now at that point. Delusional parasitosis, whatever it may be. Or you realize you see these old buildings in every city you go to, and half of the bottom story windows are covered, but there's windows there, but it doesn't make sense because they're not even on an even level. They're on an incline or multiple inclines or no inclines. You go to the basement and there's windows, but there's just dirt. And then you start thinking, why does the White House resemble pretty much everything over yonder, European-wise, or Greece, or from the ancient Rome era, so they say, if there was in such a thing. And that's a whole nother ball game. But you start realizing and you piece these things together and you're like, well, then you see a picture from the 1800s where here's California and it's the Wild West, and then we're just sending people that way, and it suddenly populated and built up huge everywhere within just moments, a little tiny bit of matter of time, and nobody questions it, but you do. But you suddenly do. You suddenly are questioning that, and you're suddenly realizing that you're watching and looking at these old photos where people are clearly digging these buildings that were pre-existing the presence of what we've been told out of the mud, and just repurposing them. Hence, this building was founded, because they freaking found it, in 1891. And there's something about the 1800s, but everything seemed to be founded, and that, right about that time. And I'll go ahead and throw this in again too. I mean, the victors always will rewrite history. And many of us are seeing that. We're seeing that. We're aware, we're awake. We're totally seeing this at this point. But we look at all of those around us in our little neck of the woods where we are, all by our lonesomes, and they're sleeping. They're not just sleeping soundly, they're freaking sawing logs and snoring. They are not waking up no matter what. And you find yourself in your own little area of the world all alone. And the only people you connect to is the ones that are online, but they're also in their own little areas of the world all alone. And it's such a strange thing. So you add that to the factor. And then all of a sudden, and again, I'm going to say something about 2016-ish for most of us. I know many have had this awakening, not to be mistaken for woke, because that's just stupid, and that means I'm a parakeet, I follow, and puppeteer, I can do. Just stop with your wokeness. You're not woke, you're not even awake, you're not even remotely aware, okay? So first and foremost, we're gonna get that straight right now. But most of you that are on my channel or watching any of these other channels that I have mentioned many times or don't even have a channel, but just know that around 2016-ish, the world drastically changed for you. Something happened. Something big happened. We don't know what it was, whether it be like a frequency in the air, which, by the way, everything that we have in this world is made up of frequencies. Nothing is actually a solid mass. It's held together by frequency. If we didn't have that frequency, if you changed it drastically, we would explode. It's kind of simple. I'm not Elon Musk, never claimed to be. I mean, it's just not rocket science. Actually, nothing ever was. That's the weird thing. We have read and memorized textbook after textbook after textbook. We have done the job and memorized, got straight A's, some of us, scholarships to get another systematic educational level of training. And when I say systematic, that's exactly what it is. It's an indoctrination. But again, we're aware of this at this point. But we're still alone in our own little areas, knowing we're awake and aware, but knowing we're alone in this area, in our realm, and nobody's listening. What is that? What do you call that? What do you guys call that? Finding yourselves being very well awake, aware, but in your own little neck of the woods where nobody else is. What is that to you? Because I know what it is to me. I think God put us all in our calling or called upon areas for good reason. Because in what would someone call end times, and that's just, it's not even the end times, the beginning times is what I would like to call it. The end of this mess and the beginning of, an eternity of bliss if we play our cards right. And at the end of the day, this actually is a really, really cruel, big, huge hand game of flipping poker. It is. But it's not a guessing game. The great thing is you're not just going to draw a card and lose. You get to choose exactly what cards you want. That's the difference. And a lot of us are sitting here thinking, we got the short hand here. We didn't ask for this. What's going on? Why are we being persecuted? Why are we the ones being backed into the corner? Why is everyone laughing and pointing at us? Why is nobody listening to us? Why are they calling us crazy? Why are they having some of us committed when we are completely loving, normal human individuals, just awake and aware, not to be mistaken for woke? What is up with that? I know what's up with that. I know you know what's up with that. Jesus was persecuted for like ever. Like his whole life, he was persecuted horribly. He was crucified and nailed to a cross, and he hung there until he suffocated on his own bodily weight in pain the whole time. And he was actually the one and only perfect human that ever walked this earth, which was, of course, our Lord God above, that loved us so much that he came down to earth in human form to experience what we have to, because our bloodline was already contaminated from day one. We had the seed of Adam in us, and we have the seed of Cain in us, and there's nothing that's going to change that. It is what it is. That's where the free will comes in. The little angel on this side, devil on this side, saying it's not even an analogy. Like, that's a true story. We have within our DNA both the angel and the devil. And that's why we find ourselves falling into these episodes of failure and things that we didn't, like, we're shamed from it. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to say that to someone that hurt their feelings. We didn't want to take the candy bar from the store. We didn't, and then we reflect and we feel bad. We're shamed by it. You know why? Number one, you have a conscience. Number two, you have a heart. Number three, you have God in your heart. And I'll tell you what, there's plenty of people walking around upon this earth that do not, have not, will not, and they have been zombified from day one. In my own opinion, they have been planted here. They have been planted here. They were soulless to begin with. Those are your demons. And demons come in many, many forms. Demons, in my own opinion, again, it's a humble one, but it's an honest one, and it's evolved from my own research and things that I've delved into and what I've studied and what I'm recognizing as truth, and in comparison to biblical prophecy, and keeping in mind the Bible has been translated multiple times. It is not always accurate. In fact, there's a lot, probably more inaccuracy than there is accuracy. But it's not too hard to figure out the accuracy by just a simple translation and going back to the earliest language. It's really not that hard. And even if you want to go to Hebrew, Hebrew is not your earliest language. We already know that Aramaic, Jesus spoke Aramaic. He did. It wasn't Arabic. It was the Aramaic language. That's the earliest language. But you can actually go back and get your words and translate them and figure out that there are multiple meanings for a single word in many forms depending upon its use. So it's not rocket science. It's not things that we cannot figure out. But what we've done is we've become lazy and dependent upon a society that wants to tell us what we can believe, what we can think, what we can read, what we can understand, what we can acknowledge. And they for sure want us to know that the word conspiracy is a really bad word. Because, that way it's a tinfoil hat picture. People are laughing because, yes, subliminal messaging is freaking real, guys. It's real. I mean, we've been using it forever and a day. MK Ultra is a no-brainer. And if you think for one split second that they just were like, you know what, we're going to throw that baby out with the bathwater because it just didn't really work out. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. And you're going to be wrong. And you're going to continue to be wrong. And I don't have a problem telling you that because if anything, it's been perfected. It's been perfected. You're welcome. So let me just go from there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a pause for a moment because I got a damn train going by. In a world of noise, all this noise, constant noise, but we are gonna rise from those ashes and every bit of that noise. So, un momento, por favor. Well, just thought I'd come back on, but guess what? You hear it, right? Yeah. Again, living in a world of noise, I literally waited 10 minutes to come back and finish what I had to say, my message to convey. And what's out there? Damn train. It's okay though, because the whole world is like a freaking damn train that's on one-way track. It is on one-way track. It's going where it's going. And I'm just the girl to derail it. So, and I know you guys are too. But it is time to derail the train. It is time to derail the noise. It is time to make some noise. It's time to make some noise in a glorious way. And you guys, I know you've heard this before. I know you have. It's time to not just be still and know that He is God, but be still and rise to the occasion because He is God. Because if we don't, who will? If we don't make the noise, if we don't relay the message, if we don't stand in our truth, thank you, Candy Nelson. Although, let's see, yeah, toot toot, mother trucker. But if we don't, who will? This is on us, y'all. It's gonna be on you too here in a second because I am gonna derail you. Un momento, por favor. Patience is a virtue, they say. So much for the joyful noise. Yep. But the toot toot mother trucker's still going through. I'm gonna derail that train, let me tell you. I mean, that's the problem. The world is actually on a one-way track. It may as well be a train. And it's only going this way and that. And there's no variation. There's no variation. And you know how the trains got on those tracks? They were put there. They were conditioned and built to be there, which is 90% of the human population. Conditioned and built to be on a one-way track with no variation of their courses, especially their ways of thinking. And I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you, we need to change our ways of thinking. We need to understand that we were not born within a mold. We were born within a womb. When we came out as ourselves. There was no mold of us. There was no mold of what we should be, how we should act, what we should do. What there was opportunity and awareness to become what we should and what we can with everything what we have about us and within us, right? Now, granted, we all walk different walks. We have different talks, and not one of us have walked in each other's shoes on any level ever. So why on God's green earth would we go through an educational system where we are all expected to learn and understand and accomplish what's expected of us at the young age of 5. How would our mentality ever be the same with different genes, different things that have influenced our lives, and keeping in mind that a child's life is imprinted upon very vulnerably at the early ages and all the way up to 7. And at the age of 7, they're pretty much more or less molded and shaped with the mentality of what they have had bestowed upon them. So why would we go to a systematic indoctrination where we memorize a book written by someone else and take that as gospel? We took their word for it and we memorized it, and then the teacher's like, who knows the answer to this? And you raise your hand, you get it wrong, you are shunned, you're going to the corner. You take a quiz, you get a bad grade, you're gonna do it again. You take a test, you don't get a good grade, you're gonna flunk. Who are they to determine the nature of humans? The shoes that were worn to bring that individual there to that moment. I'm sorry, but I remember, and I know you do too, going to school with a variety of individuals, all most definitely from different walks and different talks, and definitely different shoes, because I remember seeing holes in shoes, worn, tattered holes, okay? And I know that I saw some very wealthy people I went to school with also with worn, tattered shoes and soles, but you just couldn't see them because they were bandaged. And that's the only way I can put it. Nobody on this world, on this earth, in this realm we live in, can determine how or who or what we're supposed to be on a level of thinking that we're all supposed to be the same first and foremost. So we're gonna skip right over that, and then we're gonna go on to like, well, you got good grades, and you memorized everything correctly. You got straight A's, you got the smartest girl in class, smartest guy in class, captain of the football team, cheerleading squad, whatever it may be. You get a scholarship, and you get to go on and you get to get some more systematic training and learning, and you get some more books and more of your time spent and taken away from the good things in life, the substance in life that should really matter, and especially at the age of 5, but guys, because at the age of 5, you should be loving in life and with your mom and your dad and spending the majority of your time with your parents, with your loved ones, with whoever it is that might be raising you, because some, again, more unfortunate than others. But guess what? No, 5 years old, babies, 5 years old, all day long in school, all day long, you're wrong, go to the corner, you're wrong, get swats. You failed, you get a U, unsatisfactory in my day. You get an F, failure, stamp, get that grade on the paper in red. How does that make you feel? How did that make us feel? How does that make our children feel? And then we have children of our own, and immediately, vaccination, they come out of us, we don't even get to hold them. Like, give that mother trucker a little freaking pokey poke in the badonky donk. Just do it again, then mama can hold it. What have they been doing to us? Why have they been doing that? Why would we and should we ever have to do that? Yeah, viruses and diseases are real, folks. Guess what? We're still suffering from them right now with all those little pokey pokes. And if anything, we're dying from them even worse than we ever were. It's time to wake up to that. But I mean, what in the hell were we thinking as parents? I question myself every day. If I could redo with my own children what was, handed down from generation to generation, because that's exactly what it is. It's a memorized, systematic generation of zombies. That's what we are. That's what we become. That's who we are. If I could redo that, I would have never sent my child to my four children to public school. I would never, ever have let any needle poke them in the buttocks right the second they came out of my womb, or at all. Because you know what? That good guy, that good Lord upstairs, has given us all of the areas of survival within our own genetic makeup that he perfectly made for us to fight these illnesses off. If anything, we've stumped our opportunities of warding off illnesses, and we've completely just maimed our bodies with any type of ability to heal itself. Do you guys remember cancer? Did your grandmas ever talk about cancer? Did your great grandparents ever talk about cancer? You never heard of that. You never heard of that. Cancer was not a thing then. And I don't know what age or era you were born in, but not even the point. Go to a nursing home. Go to an elderly care home, which actually I would suggest for any of you to do because it'd be the best time you ever spent. Sit down with them. Ask them what they remember as a child. Ask them if there was cancer back in that day, if there was Alzheimer's, if there was autism, if there was ADHD, which guilty as charged, but hey, who'd have thunk? I mean, it's pretty obvious why most of us are like we are, why most of us experience the things that we do. It's obvious. We have been altered in sense. We have. If we came out of the womb and we got poked in the buttocks with a foreign substance that wasn't part of us to begin with, you're welcome. 1 + 1 = 2. Altered. It's altered. So we didn't have a choice, and my girls didn't have a choice because that's on me. But I was not aware yet. I was not spiritually awakened and understanding of the levels of deceit that we live in. And it's not just here in the good old USA, it is worldwide. That's the terrifying part. But Babylon fell once, and Babylon's gonna fall again. And I'm pretty sure, the way I'm seeing it and understanding it, the United States of America, being actually a corporation and not united on any level, but there is United Nations, by the way. Nobody ever questioned that now, did they? That's a whole different story as well. But maybe you should. Maybe you should question, what is the United Nations? How did we always get along in the United Nations all this time while bombing and blowing others up? And for what? What were those wars really about? I mean, there's a lot to look into, folks. I cannot, and I do not even know where to start. But I'm going to start with, I love you. I care. I'm aware. And I know for a fact that we can make a difference because we are aware and awake, not woke, because that's just another club to be part of, but awake in the soul, the spirit, the mind, the heart. And we can make that difference. We have the ability to see through the lies. We know that there's lies, and I know, you guys are gonna be like, but there's just a few of us, and well, there's a narrow doorway too. God told us that from day one. It's a very narrow one, and very few will enter. Who cares? Where did our trust go? Where did our trust go, and the faith in Him? Where did that go? Like right out the window, apparently. No, trust the doctor. Go there. Go to the doctor, because you'll get another script for more medicine, and then you'll be on like multiple meds, and you're still not going to get well, because Lord knows we don't. Everyone's like, okay, well, I have an aunt that, she went through chemo and she's better. She's actually cancer-free. But is she spiritually free? Is she 100% uncontaminated from all the nonsense? Did she have the faith in the Lord that He would take care of her irregardless? And I'm saying this as a humble human, because I don't know, like, we're human. Like I would probably make the same decision if it was one of my children or whatever. But the thing is, where did we put our faith? Where did we lay that? Why can we not find that? Where did it go? Like, we already know that we're seeing some bizarre things. We come to find out, like, holy cow, there's an unidentified, I don't even know what the heck in the sky. And holy cow, there's another moon, another full moon when it shouldn't be here. Holy cow, I zoomed all the way to the surface of that moon and I could see every single detail on it when I shouldn't be able to. Holy cow, the sun, that's 96 million miles away. I just pretty much flew over it in an airplane. And you guys can laugh and laugh if you will and want to. And I don't even care because I, in my own very humble but knowing way, I'm telling you these things in a vulnerable way out of truth, because I know, because I didn't let any more conditioning happen to me. I refuse. I am no longer allowing the world's conditioning and systematic ways of thinking to influence me. It's a choice. It is a choice. Will you be persecuted? Yep. You're going to be persecuted. I am not here to blow smoke up your rear end. You are going to be persecuted for marching to your own beat. Just here, though. Just here. Because you will also be rewarded. You will be rewarded in so many beautiful ways on an eternal level. So I'm sorry, but a little bit of misery for a moment here on earth. There's no comparison. There's not. There's just not. You know, and it is time to break those chains that bind us. It is time to get out of this prison that we have been captive in. And this goes back to square one, day one. We have come to this world. We've arrived here in this technological world where I also want to tell you, I think we've already been here before. I think the technology was probably pretty great, if not better, 1,000 years ago or more. I mean, these star forts that they call, you know, for the battalions, like, oh yeah, no, that was just for our own defense. We want to keep the enemy at bay. But you can look on a map and clearly see that these star forts are, first and foremost, are worldwide, keeping in mind that we had no way one knowing another at that time, apparently. Just like the pyramids are worldwide. But no way did we have a ship, we sail over there, could we have known, according to the narrative. So, you know, but yet it's proven wrong, but nobody's questioning it. Nobody's questioning the narrative. What the hell's up with that? Oh, I know, I want to fit in. I love being a puppet. Pick me. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Do you want to be a puppet or do you want to be you? Do you want to ask questions like, why are these star forts everywhere? Built in the design, those star forts are a frequency. Those star forts are circuitry. Those star forts served a huge purpose, along with those pyramids that reached into the heavens as antennas, because they quite actually were. We had this world at one time of a free range of energy, energetic living, all the way around, even humans. There was no need for the nonsense. I have insomnia, I can't sleep. There was never a need for any of that. There was a perfect world at one time. It obviously was contaminated. People fell. Those that fell from heaven. I don't know, they're not people. They're demigods. Demigods. You think it's a fairy tale? Think the Bible's lying? Those of you that are awake right now, how could it be lying? You're seeing some stuff that you never dreamed in a million years you could see. There's things flying around in the sky right now that I never dreamed I'd see. And I'm from New Mexico, where they say the first, UFO crash was. I never saw crap then. But you know what I see now? A lot of that all day long, every day, no matter where I go, it's there. And why cannot other people see it? They're not awake. That's why. It's always been there. There's, like I said, there's always been a fine blurred line. And we haven't been able to cross it or see it because they haven't allowed us to do so. They have kept us dumbed down. They have kept us minute. They have kept us in the dark purposely. We are sheep. We are rounded up in a corral. And by the way, praise the Lord, Kamala is not in the running right now. We already know who did. I'm still going to state my business on here and say that whole thing is still a puppeteered show, because Satan works like that. He works like that. And he's going to come to you like an angel of light to save the world, and everyone will trust him. And that's been written. So just don't let your guards down, okay? Just because Trump's in office. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, somebody better than Kamala that, you know, most people voted for her because, like, well, she believes that abortion should be, you know, available. I'm sorry, but if that's the only thing you're basing off of who's gonna rule your country right now, it's just like whether that should or shouldn't be, it's probably not even gonna matter if you get an abortion because you'll be dead too. Hello, because you gotta know how to rule the damn country. I'm sorry, I just went off on a tangent. Because, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I am human. And the politics simply really don't matter, but they do for this much longer. They do for this much longer because you love your families, you love your friends, you love your children, and you want to see them have a little bit of peace in their life, right? A little bit of well-being before it gets really rough, because it's gonna. So at this point, any of you right now say, well, you are spreading fear. You are spreading fear. You're making people fearful. By gosh, you better be fearful. The Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear, but he said fear him. So you better be fearful to some extent. And if you choose to be thinking that this is a fearful message, that's on you. Because the Lord didn't give you, just like he didn't give me, a spirit of fear. So if you choose that spirit of fear, that is on you at the end of the day. But because somebody is giving you a message and spreading awareness and truth where it matters, and for good reason, because by gosh, that's what we should be doing, that's still on you. And I gotta sleep at night for what that's worth, because I don't sleep much as it is, because I work my rear end off paying Uncle to the Sam, which is just a shadow government, a very dark, evil group of people. Notice we can never get ahead, no matter how much money we make. I don't know about you, but like whether I make more or less, I'm still failing. Still that unsatisfactory, that U in school or the F for failure. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So there really is no success. You can be on Wall Street. You can make your millions. But what's after that? What do you got after that? You see what I'm saying here? Where's your peace? Where's your happiness? Where are you going with that million? What next? You going to Bermuda? What after that? What after that? Oh, China? Then what? Then what? Because there's only so many, you know, square feet and mileage and areas that you can go here on Earth, because it's mainly covered in ocean anyway, and who knows what's in the depths, but you can't go there because you can't hold your nose that long. But then what? Then what do you got? I think it's about time for all of us to start thinking outside the box, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be in the box anymore. And I know most of you, that's the whole reason you've been here and you've been doing your thing and spreading your own awareness, because you're tired of being in the box. The box wasn't meant for us. The box wasn't meant for anyone. The box is meant for puppets. Puppets go out of the box when they're played with, and they go back in the box when they're done with them. And that's just not us. It's not us, guys. So, Jesus, I just don't know where to start, and I don't know where to end, because there's so much, and I could go on forever. But I'm going to have to stop for tonight. And I'm praying, Heavenly Father, please get this message across to everyone. Lord, let them know that they're loved and they're cared for, and that they are better than this, and they can rise above it, because there's a better day coming. There's an eternal life coming. Lord, Heavenly Father, please help us. Please save us. Please forgive us where we fail you. And Jesus Christ's precious and holy name, amen, of you. I love you guys. Just want you to know that. Desperate times call for desperate measures, though. So I think it's all about that moment when we come together and we make our noise. It's time for our noise. It's time for the only noise that matters. And I can't do it without you. We can't do it without each other. But it's time to make some noise. It is. I love you.